Everybody, and welcome back to my summer lunch and learn series. Almost doesn't seem like summer anymore. We're almost at fall, aren't we, Heather?
We are.
I've been doing this since May, so it's called Summer Lunch and Learn series. I should go summer fall, right?
You should.
Helen Panos, for those of you that don't know me, owner of Dynamis Learning, K through 12 tutoring, SAT, ACT prep company. We do executive functioning, 6th through 12th grades and adults. We are I was getting a lot of calls on executive functioning. So at first I was farming those out. And then I said, wait, I've met some executive functioning coaches. Let me see if they want to do it for me, and found a great one. So just wanted to let everybody know that is a new service. We also do college essay writing. I have a Yale graduate who does that, and she's terrific. Gosh, I've had some interesting young guys come on board. They've been to some Ivy League schools, Dartmouth, and all kinds of places. So you guys are in good hands. I can tell you that. I get no complaints from any of these tutors I have, and I have
That's
about
great.
20 of them now. So I do want to introduce Heather because she's come back to join us. I like bringing her back because of what she does. A lot of parents can definitely use her services. So welcome, Heather, back to the Lunch and Learn series.
Hi, Helen. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I know you want to introduce yourself. I'm going to let you introduce yourself here.
All right. I guess that's fine. I'm Heather Wright, and I am a special education advocate who supports kiddos that either have an IEP or maybe they have a diagnosis and you haven't requested an IEP or special education eligibility, as well as 504 plans. So, and I support K to 12 in a public school system.
Cool. Yes, very important work you do there. So let's jump right into this. We're going to be talking about advocacy and how to do that without burning bridges. So what are the biggest mistakes that parents make when advocating for their child, Heather, and how can they avoid those?
Yeah, let's talk about a couple of things. So of course, as being a parent of a child with special needs, or even if you're sitting at the 504 table, there's a lot of emotions that go into that, right? There's so many balls that you're juggling. I didn't want to have breakfast this morning, to lack of sleep, to not, doing well. Maybe you got an email from the teacher that they're failing a class. I mean, there's just so many things, and you get frustrated, or you're feeling this like, what do I do? I need to respond. But you're coming, and I'm not saying to not respond, but you're coming from a sense of emotion versus fact-based. So a big thing that you can do is speaking from fact versus speaking from the emotion. And I know that that is hard to do. We've all been in situations. I've myself have gotten emails, and then I get frustrated, angry, upset, and all the things, and I want to just respond right away, right? And then I shouldn't do that, because I might say something that I regret, or it comes across as being maybe disrespectful or antagonistic. So the biggest mistake is really just, you get that email and then quickly responding. And I'm going to have a strategy for that. Like, wait, give it a little bit. You get the email that your child is failing, and all the things. And while you should be concerned about that, don't respond right away. If you know yourself and you can feel the frustration, sadness, write the response without the teacher's email in there.
To yourself.
Yeah, or just leave it there and then walk away. Give it an hour, give it 2 hours, give it 24 hours if you really are angry about something, and then come back to it. Have your husband, your spouse, your friend, your neighbor read it and say, does this sound appropriate? Is this going to get the result that I'm looking for? Because if you come from emotion, you're not necessarily thinking clearly, right? And it could be taken out of context. Oh, I didn't mean it this way, I meant it that way. So responding from a point of emotion is where I see that things can go haywire instead of fact-based. Another thing that parents do, rightfully so, is not keeping the documentation and the paper trail going. So, Helen, you were a teacher in a classroom for a long time, is that not all conversations happen in email. They might happen in the carpool lane. They might happen on the phone. They might be happening at like a PTA event where they see you and side by side. And there's some good conversations that happen there. And parents and teachers might say things, you understand things, and then you get to a meeting, and then things are maybe misunderstood, misheard, misinterpreted. So I suggest to parents all the time is that if you have those conversations in the carpool lane, on the phone, in the PTA, lunch line or whatever that looks like, is just send a quick recap email to that person,
Mm-hmm.
thanking them for, having that conversation, but just have that documentation to say this is the conversation that was had so that when you get to a meeting and you're talking about academics or behavior, then you can recall that conversation. So a mistake is not documenting conversations that were had that can be potentially very important
Mm-hmm.
later on. Maybe it doesn't seem important today, but 2 weeks from now, that piece of information that the teacher gave you in the conversation that maybe a strategy is going to impact 2 weeks from now. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have it documented, then it really never happened. So we need to just keep that documentation trail.
Yeah.
Um, something else that a lot of families maybe come to meetings, they don't come prepared with documents. They don't have the data ahead of time. They maybe mention that their child's in private therapy and they don't bring that documentation with you to the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Ask for the draft documents to be sent ahead of time. Give yourself 3, 4 days. I have some families that, they might need a little bit more time to process. So they say, please send the documents to me 5 days before so that you can
Mm-hmm.
go to the meeting and have good conversations and not have to just look at a document and hopefully process the information in the hour that's given for that meeting. So making sure that you come prepared to that meeting, whether that's a 504 meeting, whether that's an IEP meeting, whether that's just a parent teacher conference,
Mm-hmm.
come with what your questions are either to the meeting or you can even send them ahead of time so that
Right.
the teachers, and you know this too, Helen, is you've been in plenty of meetings where a parent might ask a question and we don't know all the answers. Teachers don't know all the answers at the moment, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we might have to say, I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to get back to you. And then sometimes getting back to you doesn't happen because life, and it's important for you as a parent to get that. So send the questions ahead of time if you know them. I mean, sometimes you do have to ask them in time. So the biggest mistakes that I see is not documenting, is coming and responding to emails or phone calls from emotion and not from a place of fact based. And then again, just not, I said not document, coming unprepared to a meeting. So just making sure that you have that document with you.
When you said people should sit and think about stuff before they respond, that's exactly what they used to tell teachers is wait, a while if you're angry to respond to a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Or we'd say, because I mentored a lot of teachers, would say, throw the draft at me, and let
Mm-hmm.
me read it first before you send this out because it may sound very angry or whatever. So it is, we used to say sit on it for 24 hours because you had to respond within 24 hours anyway to a parent typically. So yeah, I agree with that. And especially women, we know we're all emotional, right? So we
Yeah.
want to respond immediately.
I'm not saying not to respond, but that's where I got that advice from and where I give that to my clients because I did spend
That's right.
almost 17 years in a classroom before I became an advocate. And we do get those emails or, and I'm not even saying from parents, but I've gotten them from administration or, anybody. And I just want to
Mm-hmm.
like defend myself and go right at it. And it's very hard to read the tone in an email. You know
Mm-hmm.
that, or even in a text message. My mom loves to text message with all capital letters, and I'm like, "Mom, you're basically screaming at me. Like, why are you yelling?" And she's like, "That's not what I meant." So it's just better to get the emotion out. If you need to just send yourself an email or write it out, get the emotion out,
Mm-hmm.
and then come back to the table and say, "Was this what I wanted to say, and is this going to get me the answers that I need to make an educated decision or decisions that are made?"
Mm-hmm.
So take
What
that
I
time.
like to do is journal nowadays, Heather. Like
Yes.
that might be a good way for parents to kind of get that frustration out at first, and then it kind of calms you down.
Right. Right. Well, because I know for myself, I get frustrated, and not even in my job, but just in general. And it's nice to just take
Yeah,
a time, take a step away, go for a walk, go do something, and then come back to it. And you have time to process the information, and then you can respond.
right. I mean, we do
Uh,
live in a pretty stressful environment and world.
we do, and I get that we want to make sure that we're addressing it quickly, but I feel like you get more by sitting on it and
Mhm.
processing it and then responding in an appropriate manner than being aggressive or threatening, because that's not going to want anybody to do anything
Mhm.
productive, right?
Right.
There might be a conflict, but if you respond out of emotion and frustration, you really could be adding more fuel to the fire than putting it out.
Mhm. True. Yep. So
That's hard.
can you share one or two phrases that parents can use in meetings to keep the conversation collaborative and even when they disagree with the school?
Yes. Oh, and I was in a meeting this morning and we had some disagreements, and I'm in meetings all the time with school teams, and there is a way to disagree without having to be, I'm going to say, nasty to people, like you can be assertive versus aggressive, but absolutely, when you want to get your point across or when you disagree, here's a couple, and I wrote them down because I wanted to make sure.
No, that's fine.
um, so I would say, can you help me to understand
Mhm.
how the decision was made? Can you help me to understand why you're recommending XYZ support? Can you help me to understand what a typical day looks like and how they're getting to? So you might disagree, but it's coming from a place of understanding rather
Mhm.
than saying, you don't know how to do this. And then that puts people on the defense.
Right. True.
Can you help me to understand?
Mhm.
Or can you clarify
Yep.
whatever
I like
it
using
is?
that one. I was
Like
while you're
those
talking,
two.
I was saying I like to use the word. Can you clarify for
Right.
me?
Can you clarify? Or what I heard you say was,
Mhm.
and then repeat back what you said. And I'm going to say the 24-hour rule, not that you're waiting 24 hours in a meeting to respond, but say, I need a couple minutes. Can I process this information? Give me 2 seconds, or give me, a minute. So can you help me to understand, or can you clarify, is one. I would also say, I appreciate this support,
Mhm.
but I still think we need to adjust X, Y, and Z. Or I respectfully disagree with you. I literally said that in a meeting 2 weeks ago with eligibility, and the school team was making some comments and made the suggestion to, well, we just need to wait and see and gather some more data. And I openly and said, I respectfully disagree with you. This child has been in the RTI process and have the history of data for over a year. We have enough data to make this decision.
Mhm.
I disagreed, but I did it respectfully. And
Right.
it was a flat tone. I didn't raise my voice. I'm just putting it out there. I respectfully disagree. I still think we need to adjust X, Y, and Z. And here's the data to back it up. Again, not coming from emotion, coming from
Right.
data driven decisions. We have 12 months of this data. We have a private evaluation report. You have data from the school being taking RTI data. We don't
Mhm.
need to wait and see to make a decision.
Right. Yep. I agree.
I don't like the wait and see anyway.
Right. They may wait and
Sometimes,
see for too long.
well, and that's exactly it too, is that, when you come to a meeting and a parent asks a question and the teachers say to you, we're going to have to get back to you. The intention is not to not get back to you, but life happens and things go awry and then they don't get back to you. That
Mhm.
wait and see also could not happen. Well, if
Mhm.
we're going to take some data, then let's schedule a second meeting to discuss the data. And
Right.
then you schedule a meeting at that meeting. So there is a finite time that they have to collect the data and come back. And so we can
Mhm.
address it with the
I also
team.
like to use like if somebody sounds like they're kind of being evasive or not really giving you, well, when should I expect? I'll say, when should I expect to hear from you, or
Mhm.
how long do you think before you need? How much longer do you need before you get back to me? So I kind of have an idea. Don't bother them. Don't keep emailing them or whatever.
Right. Right.
Because
Because that can be.
they do have other cases, right? I mean, they have other students.
Absolutely. And I do that. Even the meeting today, I said, when can we expect the finalized IEP? And they said within 10 days. Okay. Then I know, and the parent knows when to look
Yeah.
for that email
We'll look
or
for it
that
Monday,
document.
possibly.
Well, and in this case, they're going on fall break next week, so
Oh,
it
that's
will be
right.
after fall break. But at least you have an idea. So if a parent's like, "I want it in 24 hours, I am expecting it," then there is
Mhm.
ample time and setting expectations. But I also go back to, and this really doesn't, I guess, avoiding conflict, but maybe it kind of does, is both parents and school teams need to remember to not overpromise and underdeliver.
Mm,
You
yeah.
know, it's good in all kind of situations, but if a school team is saying to you, "We'll get that document to you in 2 days," and you're not able to do it, don't promise it to the parent at that point.
Mhm.
Or if a parent says, "Well, I can do X, Y, and Z by," set a realistic expectation for yourself. And I'm saying boundaries. We talked about that really quickly before, but set that boundary of knowing when to ask for things, but don't overpromise and underdeliver. Because quite honestly, that's the biggest component that's going to start conflict
Right.
amongst any school teams. Is
Mhm.
you said you were going to do something and it didn't happen, or somebody misinterpreted something and then it wasn't what you thought it was going to be, parents and school teams. And that's why I go back to making sure that you are documenting conversations and documenting things. So
Mhm.
if there is a misunderstanding, it's able to be resolved quickly in the moment that the conversation happened, rather than 3 weeks from now when people aren't remembering the specifics of those conversations.
Yeah, that's true. So I know you have a free gift offer for our audience, and some people will catch this on the replay. So
So if you're watching today or you're watching on the replay, you can always visit my website, and I think how it's in the screen, I believe, but it's
yes.
heatherwrightconsultant.com, and you can go there and you can download a free editable concerns letter template. So you go in there, it gives you really like kind of spots to fill in for yourself of what you need for your children or your child. And I
Hmm.
believe it also includes an opportunity to request an IEP meeting or a meeting with the school team. So maybe it's not necessarily IEP, but it could be a 504 meeting. You can
Hmm.
still use that whether if you have a child in special education or not. It really does help guide that conversation to be data driven and focused with some
Hmm.
clear, concise language. So go to my website and you can download that. But you can also, if you are having questions, have that gut feeling that things aren't going awry, maybe the emotions at the IEP table or 504 table are high and heated, and you need to just bring some of that emotion down, you can go also and schedule a free consultation with me to see how I might be able to support you or give you some tools to help you with that conflict resolution as well.
Cool. Awesome. Well, you guys need to take Heather up on her offer and do the free consult if you have questions and related to IEPs, even 504s. Definitely give her a contact hit on her page and get the free edible template. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Take it. It's out there for anybody to grab.
yeah,
Take it and use it, and tailor it to what you need it for. So it might be geared for IEP things, but it gives you food for thought and how language you can use in those documents when you're trying to address concerns with the teams
that's
that you're
awesome.
working with.
I assume you've seen kind of an uptick recently, I would guess, on what you do for a living.
I do. I've been extremely busy. Um, like today, I have this one, but I have two other IEP meetings, and I was in an IEP meeting this morning, so I have three
Wow.
meetings today alone. That's not typical, but I had to schedule some things and change some things around, so today's meetings were a lot. But I've been on the roll since the end of July,
Mhm.
inside school teams. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to a little bit of a break next week with fall break, because I kind of take the
Yeah,
same breaks that school teams do. I'm excited for that break, but absolutely, I am here. Families need more support than ever, and most families don't even realize that people like myself exist.
right.
Um, and they hear the word advocate and they think adversarial, porcupine. Make sure that if you're reaching out to somebody for support, reach out to a few people. You want to make sure that if you're coming to the table with an advocate, that advocate supports you as a family unit
Mhm.
too. You know,
I'm
so do
glad you
your
said
homework.
that. Yeah, because there are a lot of like we advocate, right, for families. We do it a
Hmm.
little differently than you. I've referred business to Heather. Heather's referred business to me. I have the 504 experience, but you can start with me and I can immediately tell you, oh, no, you need to speak with Heather. So that is a great idea is to check in with two or three people and see. is everybody telling you kind of the same thing or not? And that's how
Right.
you learn.
Right.
But thank you for your time today, Heather. I know time's up, and I appreciate your time. I know you're busy. And you guys, I cannot believe it's the end of my Summer Lunch and Learn series. When I first do these, I'm like, wow, I've got 4 months of these to do. And now it's already September. Like, time flies, especially once school starts. It just goes by so quickly.
It
And
does.
this month was so terrific with all the guests we had. Lori Genevieve spoke about the Teens Next Chapter. It's all about college planning. So go back and catch hers on the 3rd. It was well received. On the 10th, Dr. Ross was talking about how to earn a degree completely debt-free. She's terrific. Very well received again. I think this has been one of the best months. And today's Heather's how to advocate without burning bridges. And then next Wednesday's our last one. Actually, I'll be on vacation too. And Crystal, my executive function coach, is going to take that over herself, she tells me. And she's going to do the ADHD hacks for responsibility. And she is an executive function coach. So she's better.
That's the one I'm excited for. And I have referred one of my former clients to you. I think that
Yes.
they are doing executive functioning with y'all and have had great positive things to say. So I
Great.
love that experience. If you need that support, reach out to Helen. She definitely has the support on that side. And if you're, struggling 504 IEP, knock on my door. Not literally, don't come to my door.
And
Go to my website and you could schedule that consult with me and we can have a conversation and see if we're a good fit or if not, and that's okay too. You want to find a fit that works for you.
Yeah. And, schools cannot do it all. I definitely want to end with that comment because I think that might have been what people thought in the past. But there's so many more complicated things today, and you want to get your child the advocate. I mean, they only go through middle school, elementary, and high one time. That's it.
Right.
You can't go back and fix things after that's done. So do not wait too long when you see some warning signs, red flags, things like that, because we just did an executive functioning webinar, well received again. And so I think I'm happy to see parents coming on and saying things that they're noticing about their child and what their reactions and the way they act and their behavior. So actually, we talked about the love language book that came out of this executive. And then I went and looked it up, and they actually have done one for children and teens. So we may look at doing a webinar on that because I think that's important. The 5 love languages.
Great. I didn't know it was out there for children. So.
I didn't either until I started Googling it. And now I'm going to order it as soon as this is over because I'm going to give it to somebody that has young children as well.
That's great. I'll have to look at it.
I know I gave it to my husband to read before when we were dating.
Did he listen?
Yeah, actually, I think he did pick up on it.
That's great.
So that's what I'm saying. There's all kinds of sources out there, folks. Books, people, other people. And then a lot of people do free consults. So take people up on these things.
Yeah. And it doesn't hurt. I mean, I promise I'm not a salesperson at the end of the day. I don't like being too salesy, but why not reach out and see? And I have clients that come that might have done a consult with me 6 months ago, and it might not have just been a good fit, or maybe it just wasn't the right time for them. And then they come back and we work out, we work through it. So, there are resources, and it doesn't hurt to just have that conversation or start the conversation, because I will also be the first one to tell you, do you need me or do you not need me, or how I can help? Yes, this is a business for myself, but it's also, I'm in the business of helping families. So it could be that I need to refer to, it sounds like you need maybe some tutoring, and that's where maybe I refer to Helen, or I say, you need an executive functioning coach, or maybe this is you need a lawyer, and I will do some referrals that way. Or if I don't feel like it's a good fit matching wise on my advocate side, I have referrals that I can send to you as well, so you can see other perspectives. So make the call, schedule the appointment with me, and
yeah. And I guess this is a good time for me to say I posted on my personal page, and it'll get posted next week more so. But I'm going to be on the summit on the ADHD Toolbox Live with Alma Galvin and Bob Dietrich. Mine's a recording, so you'll get it on October 8th. But they have a lot of terrific people that are going to be speaking. And my topic is the missing piece, advocacy for ADHD success. We're sitting here talking about advocacy. I forgot that I'm going to be on that summit.
That would be great. I got to mark that on my calendar. Is it,
Yeah.
do
Mine
you have
will
to,
roll out. I think the recordings roll out 10/7 and 10/8. So mine's on 10/8. I'm trying to find out the time.
do
But
you
there's
have
a
to
lot of
pay
great
to join?
speakers on there.
I'm
What's
sorry,
that?
do you have to pay to join
I don't
the
think so. I think
webinars?
it'll be free to register. So I'll have a link on. I'll post it again next week and have like a link where you can just, it's probably usually you pay if you want the recordings for a long time and you can't catch them quick enough. That's usually how most people do them.
Yeah.
So if you want them and you want to catch up later, then there might be a small fee, I would think.
I'll
So
check your website for sure, or even your social media. I know you're pretty
yeah,
active on there to check that. So
yep.
looking forward to seeing you on that. And congratulations for doing that.
Yeah, thank you. It's fun. I love advocacy. I think that's one of the best things out there for people. So, all
Me
righty,
too, clearly.
guys. What's that?
I said, me too, clearly. That's what I do every day.
Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your week and weekend. Those of you going on what we call fall break, I think that's Cobb and maybe Cherokee and maybe APS. I'm not sure. There's about 2 or 3 of them in the Atlanta area. Have a great
Yep.
break and come back all ready to go on whatever date that is that you'll be back. I think the 29th.
Yeah, and we'll
So,
be full into October at that point, or right up,
oh, I
right
know.
next
I
day.
can't
So
believe, like, before you know it's Halloween.
it'll be great. But I appreciate you, Helen, for joining me today or having me on today. And for those that are watching, don't hesitate to reach out. Please do so.
Yes. Thank you. Bye for now, guys.
Bye.